Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing a Blue Eyes White Dragon deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is one of the most iconic decks in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Being able to summon out the awesome, incredible Blue Eyes White Dragon. So without further ado guys, we're going to get straight on to this one. Before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out that Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name screwed in every single video, getting a signed card to the mail, and even getting each requested deck profile every single month your patron along with test hand. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. So basically this dragon is legendary and it's a powerful engine of destruction, virtually invincible. Very few have faced this awesome creature and lived to tell the tale. So basically, as soon as you summon this card, your opponent's pretty much going to run in fear. This card is awesome. I love this card in this particular deck and is the main combo starter of the entire deck. We're then going to be playing 3 copies of Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon. Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon is an awesome card as well. You just have to reveal a Blue Eyes in your hand to be able to special summon this card to your side of the field, but you can only special summon this card once per turn this way. It also has the ability that becomes Blue Eyes White Dragon while in the field and in the graveyard, and if that wasn't enough, it also can target a monster on the field and destroy that card, but it only has one downside. When you destroy a card on the field that's a monster with this card's effect, it cannot attack that turn, which is a fair trade-off in my opinion. We then play a single copy of Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon. Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon is a great searcher in this deck and helps with a lot of the problems that the deck had previously before this card came out, especially with this build that's more of a fusion build. If this card is special summon, you get to add a ritual spell or a polymerization from your deck to your hand. Now that's really helpful just to get you a polymerization from your deck to your hand. And then during the end phase, you can add a level 8 or higher dragon monster from your deck to your hand as well, which is great just to be able to get those searches with this particular card. It's also an OTK maker because you can banish this card from the graveyard, and then all level 8 or higher dragon monsters you currently control gain 1,000 additional attack points. You only use effect of this card once per turn, and you can only activate them with Blue Eyes White Dragon is on your field or in your graveyard, which is the only drawback to this card, that you have to have a Blue Eyes on the field or in the graveyard when you activate the effects. Then we play a single copy of Dragon Spirit of White. Dragon Spirit of White is an awesome card. It's always treated as a Blue Eyes card. And when this card is when this card is a normal monster while in the hand or the graveyard, and then when this card is normal or special summon, you can target one spell and trap your opponent controls and banish it. And if your opponent controls a monster, quick effect, you can tribute this card to be able to special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand, which is pretty good just to be able to get out your big dragon from your hand. We then play 3 copies of the White Stone of Ancients. The White Stone of Ancients is a really good card to help you swarm the field. It has the ability that you can tribute this card, or you can once per turn during the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your deck. You can banish this card from the graveyard to be able to target a Blue Eyes monster in your graveyard and add it back to your hand as well, which is a very good effect to be able to just get your Blue Eyes monsters back to your hand. We then play 2 copies of the White Stone of Legend. The White Stone of Legend is a awesome searcher in the deck that has the ability that if this card is in the graveyard and it was sent there this turn, then you get to add a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. So whenever it's sent to the graveyard, it's not once per turn, it just immediately adds a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand, which is really good as a searcher because you can actually use this card with cards of consonants to be able to draw a card from the deck as well, draw 2. So basically you're getting a search and a draw 2 off this card as well. We're then playing 3 copies of Sage with Eyes of Blue. Sage with Eyes of Blue is really helpful as well because the Sage basically has the ability that on normal summon it lets you add a tuner monster from your deck to your hand that is a level 1, which is pretty helpful to be able to add any of these cards from your deck to your hand. It's really nice just to be able to search those cards, and it also has the ability that kind of works with all of the eggs as well, that you can discard this card to target an effect monster you control, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, you get special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck, which can be Abyss Dragon, it can be a Blue Eyes White Dragon, it can be Dragon Spirit, the Dragon Spirit, which is really good to be able to special summon any of those monsters from the deck and then use their effects as well when they touch the graveyard. We then play 3 copies of King of the Swamp. King of the Swamp is really good because you can discard it to be able to add from deck to hand a polymerization, or you can use as a fusion substitute for one of your fusion monsters, which is pretty good. Play 2 copies of Nebula Dragon. Nebula Dragon is a really good rank 8 maker. What this card does, you reveal it in your hand, and another level 8 dragon monster in your hand. Special summon both in defense position, but their effects are negated, and also you cannot normal summon or special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except light or dark dragon monsters. You can also banish this card from the graveyard and then target one level 4 light or dark dragon monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand, which never comes up. Basically, the special summon effect is the only important effect on this card. We then play a single copy of Galactic Spiral Dragon. Galactic Spiral Dragon is a card that I threw into this deck recently. It's a really good card that while this card is in your hand or graveyard, if you control 2 or more light or dark dragon monsters, you can instantly special summon this card from your hand in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. And then during your main phase, you can make all monsters you currently control become level 8 until the end phase of the turn, which is really good because making a stone into a rank or a level 8 is really nice just to be able to instantly get you into a rank 8 play, or multiple rank 8 plays. We then play a single copy of Chaos Dragon Levenair. Chaos Dragon Levenair is such a good card in this deck. It has the ability that it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must be special summoned by banishing 3 light or dark monsters, or a combination of both. And depending on what you banish to special summon this card depends on the effect. If you only banish light, then you get to special summon a monster from your graveyard in defense. If you only banish dark, you shuffle a random card from your opponent's hand into the deck. But if you banish light and dark to summon this card, you destroy up to 2 cards on the field, which is pretty good just to pop 2 cards on the field with this card. Then I play 1 hand trap in this deck because it's actually searchable with the Sage, which is a single copy of Effect Veiler. It's pretty good to actually search the Effect Veiler off the Sage because you can just normal summon Sage, add Effect Veiler, because it's a level 1 tuner monster, which is kind of neat, and I really like that effect. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of 1 for 1. 1 for 1 is super helpful in this deck because it's going to get you into your stones and get certain cards out of your hand to be able to go into more plays in this particular deck. We play a single copy of Dragon's Mirror, which is a great fusion spell in this deck to be able to go into a lot of different cards. Basically, this card lets you banish your dragon monsters from the graveyard to be able to fusion summon into a dragon monster from your extra deck. We play a single copy of Monster Reborn because it is a great extender in this deck to go into all sorts of crazy plays. We play 3 copies of Return of the Dragon Lords that you get to target a level 7 or 8 dragon monster in the graveyard and special summon it, but the really good effect of this card is if a dragon monster you control would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard instead. So this card comes in very, very handy just to be able to basically give you your dragons back and give them protection from destruction as well. We play a single copy of Cards of Consonance. You discard one of the eggs to be able to draw 2, which is really good. Just has to be a dragon tuner monster with 1,000 or less attack, which all of the eggs fall into the category of that, which is the Whitestone of Legend and Ancient. We play 3 copies of Trade-In as well. Trade-In is just so good because there's so many targets in this particular deck to discard with Trade-In. Any level 8 monster for 2 cards is just really, really good in my book. We play 3 copies of Polymerization. Polymerization is so important in this deck. You gotta have that OG artwork in this particular deck. This card basically lets you fusion summon into your Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon, which is going to be the main card that you're going to be going for with this card. This card is so good in this particular deck. I know it does such a simple effect, which is just fusion summon into a monster, but it's just such a good payout for what you get to go into a Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate with this card just being such a good boss monster. We then play 3 copies of the Melody of Awakening Dragon. Melody of Awakening Dragon lets you discard a card to add 2 dragon monsters with 3,000 attack or more, or 2,500 or less defense, which is pretty good to be able to just add those cards from deck to hand, because basically all of your dragon monsters that you play from Blue Eyes White Dragon, Alternative, your Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon, Dragon Spirit of White, like all of those cards are searchable with this card. Even Chaos Dragon Levenair is searchable because it has 3,000 attack and 0 defense, and it has to have less than 2,500 defense. Is just really good. Even like you have so many targets in this deck to be able to grab. You can even grab targets for trade-in if you don't have them, which is why trade-in is a must 3 of in this deck. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. You don't play any traps in this build. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. Now, this card is the ultimate boss monster for this deck. It takes 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons to go into, and your opponent cannot target or destroy this card with card effects, which is basically just protecting it from Dragoons. It has 4,500 attack points, and then once per turn, you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. And if this card was fusion summoned using a monster whose original name is Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon as a material, you can target it to 3 cards your opponent controls instead, but this card cannot attack the turn you activate this effect to pop cards on the field. This card is just an awesome card. It can pop 3 cards. It can't be destroyed by card effects, and it can't be targeted either. It's just such a good boss monster for this deck. I play a single copy of Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. This card's a helpful OTK piece for the deck because at the start of the damage step, this card is the only face-up card you control, and if this fusion summon card attacked, then you can send a Blue Eyes Fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, and this card can make another attack in a row. You can only use the effect of this card up to twice per turn, and then during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets a Blue Eyes monster you control, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead, and negate the activation if you destroy that card, which is pretty good just to give you additional protection. I thought about bumping this card up to like 2, because if I summon one of them, I can send the extra one to the graveyard, but the extra deck is a little bit tight, so I'm just playing one copy of it for now. I play a single copy of Blue Eyes Twin Burst. This card just takes 2 Blue Eyes to summon it, and you can actually contact fuse into this card, so you don't have to use polymerization, which is pretty good. It can attack twice, and also has the ability to end the damage step. If the monster that this card attacked was not destroyed by that battle, then you can banish that card from instead, which is pretty good just to be able to banish something that this card did not destroy by battle, and it has a really good effect that it can't be destroyed by battle either. We then play for a Galaxy Eyes package. We're going to be playing a single copy of Full Armor Photon. Full Armor Photon is here because you can overlay it on top of a lot of the different cards in this deck, which is super helpful to just throw this on top of something as a 4,000 attack point monster and be able to pop a card on the field. We play a single copy of number 62. It is a number monster, which is super helpful, and it's also a 4,000 beat stick. We play a single copy of number 38. 38 negates spell cards, and it's super helpful to go into this card as well. Because we're playing so many rank 8s in this deck, we're also playing a number 97 because this card helps us get into so many cards in this extra deck. This card is so helpful and has so many different options in this particular build to go into. So you've got to play this card as a one-of, because what this card does is you're basically, when it's XZ summon, you detach a material from it, and then you get to target 2 dragon number XZ monsters in your X deck and special summon them, and then overlay one of them with the other copy. So basically, if I were to summon out my copy of my number 38, I could use this card's effect, detach a material, and then special summon both of these to my field, and then immediately throw on top of it the copy of number 100, which would give the number 100 a material, which is pretty good just to throw that on top. And speaking of number 100, we play a single copy of number 100 because you can detach a material from this card and it gains 1,000 attack times the number of ranks on the field. This card is a rank 1. You'll have the number 97 on the field. So this card is a 9,000 beat stick, which is awesome for this particular deck. We play the same copy of number 92. Number 92 is the new card that I dropped in here after True King of All Calamities got taken out by the list. So this card is a really good card in this deck as a one-of. It's a little bit hard to get out, but the main way that you're going to be getting it out is with number 97, because it has the ability that this card cannot be destroyed by battle, so it's a little bit of a defensive card, and also your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving this card. And then during your opponent's end phase, you can detach a material from this card to banish all cards your opponent currently controls that were normal or special summon or set this turn, which is a pretty good effect to be able to just use with this awesome powerhouse of a card. One copy of number 27, Lancelot, Dark Knight of the Underworld. Dark Knight of the Underworld can attack your opponent directly while it has a material, and then when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target one face-up monster opponent controls and destroy it. But it also has the effect that once per turn during either player's turn, when a spell or trap or a monster effect is activated, you have to detach a material from this card and to negate the activation. Now that is a mandatory effect to have to do that, which is a little bit unfortunate, but so you kind of got to watch out for it. Play a single copy of Double A Zeus because it does help us board wipe, so this card's very helpful. One copy of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon makes it so neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time. This card was actually released during Pendulum era. This is a very Pendulum, anti-Pendulum deck. And it also has the ability that once per turn, during either player's turn, when a card effect is activated in the graveyard, you can negate that activation. And then also you can tribute this card to be able to special summon a light dragon monster from your X deck that's a synchro monster, which is either your Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, which special summons normal dragon monsters, and when it's special summoned to your field, it basically protects all of your monsters that are currently on the field from being destroyed by card effects until the following end phase, which is pretty good to be able to just protect your monsters, and a single copy of Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, which helps you get rid of level 5 or higher monsters. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoy it. It's a really fun deck to be able to play around with. I really love being able to fusion summon into Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon and be able to just go after my opponent with this awesome boss monster. It's a really fun deck to be able to play around with. It's not super expensive of a deck, to be honest with you guys. The alternative whites, I think, are one of the most expensive cards in the entire main deck. The extra deck is kind of budget outside the Zeus as well, and maybe the number 97, but the rest of the stuff is very, very easy to pick up. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.